So in this video, I am going to be ranking every single 2K game that I have personally played, and that's going to be from 2K13 to 2K25. And make no mistake, this list is going to upset you in some way, alright? No matter what order I put all of these games in, at least one person who clicks on this video is going to be upset in some way. They're going to be wanting to flip over their table, getting pissed off. They're going to throw their phone at the wall, wanting to punch their monitor like on some cashnasty shit. Something like that, alright? And I can't wait to piss somebody off. I'm going to be real with you. But before I get to pissing people off, let me just explain how this is going to work real quick. So here's the tier list up in front of you right now. I've renamed the S to the F tier. It's going to be goated, great, mid, pretty bad, or affront to God. Now, if you watch my videos, you probably know at least one game that's going in the affront to God tier, but we're going to get to it. But yeah, without further ado, I think we're ready to hop into the rankings here. So let's start with my first ever 2K game, which is 2K13. So obviously with 2K13 being my first ever 2K game, I'm going to have some type of nostalgia for it, but I'm going to try my best to have that not affect my ranking. But even looking back through the nostalgia, having it completely blind me, I can still admit that this game was pretty fucking ass. And I remember thinking that even back then, which is pretty crazy because back in 2012, 2013, when I was like 8 or 9 years old, my only standards for a 2K game were, yeah, I just want to get on and play offline mycareer and have fun, but this game couldn't even accomplish that. Like, don't get me wrong, I was a stupid little kid and I had no standards, so obviously I enjoyed the game somewhat, but the animations, from what I remember, are just very clunky. Paint defense and dunking was just very weird and inconsistent. I wasn't very good at the game, to be clear, so you could comment skill issue, feel free to do that. But from what I remember, this game was just very clunky and weird, so I can't put it anywhere high up. Like, the highest I'm going to give this game is a C tier, and that's actually where I'm going to put it in the mid tier, because this game introduced my team. And although this game was pretty ass in every way that I can remember myself, I will put it in the mid tier simply for introducing my team. From what I remember, my team was actually pretty ass in 2K13, and then they started refining it in later years. But just the act of adding my team, I think, gives this game, at bare minimum, a C tier in the mid, whatever the fuck I called it. Alright, so we have absolutely got a fucking banger now in 2K14. So 2K14, for those of you who were not around for this, it was a major leap forward. So first of all, this was the first next-gen, in quotation marks, experience that we got with 2K. This was going from the Xbox 360 and the PS3 onto the Xbox One and the PS4. And jumping consoles, like they did, allowed them to make so many improvements to the game. Like, they completely redid the motion engine. It was so much better. Remember, I was complaining about how clunky 2K13 was. Basically, this game fixed any complaint that I had about 2K13 and added so many more amazing features. So first of all, this game introduced the fucking park, which you're seeing Chris Smoove gameplay of in the background. This is pretty nostalgic for me. But man, the introduction of the parks are so vibrant, they're so colorful in the background that you're seeing here. This is the first ever time that they had park in a game, so this is obviously a huge development. And like I was saying, with the jump from the Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, they were able to make such great improvements to the lighting and the way that the character models looked and the courts and everything. Like, you might be looking at this in the background right now and saying it looks like shit now because you're looking at it through a 2025 lens where you can game in 8K with ultra ray tracing. We didn't have that shit back in 2013, bro. So these graphics were really incredible for the time. And this was the first year where they decided to go in there and really make a story-driven mycareer experience, which I wish they would go back to instead of the bullshit that they put in mycareer nowadays. But anyway, with everything I've said so far, if you don't think that this game is an S tier, you're out of your fucking mind. This easily belongs in the GOAT tier. So moving on to 2K15 now, I think 2K15 is one of the most divisive 2Ks. It was either you really liked 2K15 or you fucking hated it, and there was really no in-between. Now, I happen to fall onto the side of players that actually really liked 2K15. Now, that being said, I am not blind to the issues that were in 2K15. I know the game wasn't perfect. Now, obviously, the demigod glitch existed, and if you were around in 2K15, I probably just sent chills up your fucking spine, okay? So the way that this glitch worked is once you did it, you would have every single attribute maxed. you would be 7'2", and you would have guard-like dribbling speed and movement speed, and you could equip any player's jump shot, their dunk packages, and animations on a 7'2" big man. So I'm not ignoring the fact that this game had issues. It objectively had problems, but I can live with a demigod glitch. I'm going to be real. If you can't live with that, that's fine. I completely understand why you would put 2K15 lower. But in my opinion, it's a stupid glitch. It's a dumb exploit. It shouldn't be in the game. I agree. But I tried to make the most of what we had in 2K15, and once I started doing that stupid-ass glitch as well, it was kind of fun going against everybody else who had that damn demigod glitch, just being a bunch of 7-footers with maxed out everything with the best jump shots. I will admit it was actually fun to do that, and even before the demigod glitch in 2K15, I think it was actually a pretty good game. But as far as the rest of the game goes, besides the demigod glitch, it is one of the best, okay? So first of all, they introduced face scanning. As glitchy as it was kind of cool to try out. They also completely revamped parks by adding affiliations. So they added Rivet City, Sunset, they added Old Town, the 3 affiliations that we're seeing coming back in 2K25 because they're out of fucking ideas. And they also added the Jordan Rec Center for the first time in 2K15. And I have been a Rec player ever since. I love 5v5, just Rec gameplay in general. Rec is my favorite mode to play most of the time. And when you combine that with the soundtrack being fully curated by fucking Pharrell Williams, most of you might not even know who that is, but he was one of the biggest artists back in the day. Fucking banger soundtrack in 2K15, and they also added 2K TV. So all of those things added together, if there was no demigod glitch, I could easily put 2K15 in the S tier, but because of the demigod glitch, we gotta go A tier, bro. Now, moving on to 2K16, I think you all know exactly where I'm gonna put this. This is my personal favorite 2K. I've said this in pretty much all of my videos, but we're still gonna sit here and talk about why I'm gonna put 2K16 in the S tier. So just starting off, easily the best My Career storyline we have ever had, hands down. This shit was directed by Spike Lee, bro. Easily the best My Career story we have ever gotten, hands fucking down. When I look back at old videos of the scene of Vic's death, bro, I actually, I feel emotion towards that. It's like it's out of a fucking movie. I actually get emotional watching that clip. The My Career story was done so fucking perfectly in this game. But besides that, 2K actually added 10 real college teams for the first time since fucking 2K8 in this game, which was a big deal. So they had Arizona, Georgetown, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisville, Michigan, Texas, UCLA, UConn, and Wisconsin, bro. That is a huge deal of having college teams in My Career. Now, this game also introduced Pro-Am for the first time, and besides Rec, Pro-Am is probably my favorite game mode to play, so naturally that's going to just keep rising how high I want to put 2K16. This game also completely revamped the rep system with smoother matchmaking and new parks, obviously, huge fucking W. This was also the first game to introduce park-exclusive dribble moves, and a lot of the moves in 2K16 were really fun to do. And obviously, I don't even need to sit here in detail how 2K16 has the best dribbling in the series. If you have a fucking brain, you understand that, and if you played the game, you know that. This game also, in my opinion, not only did it have the best dribbling system, it also had the most realistic player movement. I love the way that the movement felt. I also really like the defensive AI in 2K16. The post-game interviews in My Career were also fire. They also had a soundtrack created by 3 fucking DJs. They had DJ Khaled, DJ Mustard, and DJ Premier all worked on the 2K16 soundtrack, and you can tell because that shit is fire. And finally, 2K16 also introduced Play Now Online ranked matches, which was a huge deal for people in that community, although I didn't play it that much, to be honest with you. So after all of that, if you have half of a brain, you obviously know 2K16, without a doubt, is going in my S tier. It is the best 2K of all time. Fight me in the comments, bro. So now we are moving on to 2K17, and to be honest with you all, I think I'm going to have a pretty unpopular take about 2K17, but hear me out. Now, I don't think that 2K17 is as good as a lot of people make it out to be. Now, hold on before all of you start running to the comments going, oh my god, Tex, there's no way you just said that, okay? It is miles ahead of everything we got after it, but I don't think it's the masterpiece that people frame it out to be, and let me explain why. So let's start with the more basic things here. First of all, the Paul George loading screen, bro. I have never had PTSD from a video game in the way that I have PTSD for the 2K17 Paul George loading screen, bro. I don't know what caused that loading screen to take 7 hours every time I launched the fucking game, but it did happen every time, so thank you for giving me PTSD with that. So that's one thing I didn't like. Now, I cannot mention 2K17 without bringing up the absolute fucking disaster that was Park After Dark. What an absolute embarrassment of an event that was. Just straight up, dude. I don't know what the hell they were doing with that event. That is the worst lag I have ever felt in a video game in my life. If you think 2K is laggy nowadays, just be glad you were not around for that one specific event in 2K17, because holy God, that was the worst embarrassment of an event in any game I have ever seen in my life. Now, as far as the actual gameplay goes, the only real complaint that I have about the gameplay is just in general, and especially on defense, the game felt way too slidey. And I think if you play 2K17, you can understand what I mean by that. It's very hard to describe that if you've never played the game, to be honest with you. But everything else that this game did, for the most part, I think it did well. The My Career story was really interesting, like the whole orange juice fucking, the Gento brain rot is like still in my head from watching his videos. I actually almost called it Orange Juice Fresh Squeeze instead of saying Justice. For anyone who remembers Gento, you get a fucking cookie if you remember Gento in the comments. But Michael B. Jordan played him, so the My Career story was very interesting with that whole Justice Young Orange Juice shit. The new My Park with the new mechanics and animations. I like the dribbling in this game. I also like the new My Park rep system, right? And you have better matchmaking and team branding and Pro-Am. You get the new shot meter, advanced dribbling. Like I said, I like the dribbling in this game. And just more realistic physics in general. So overall, I think that 2K17, it's a great game, but it's just very overhyped. And I think nostalgia blinds a lot of people when they look back at it. So putting 2K17 into the tier list, I'm giving it a solid A tier below 2K15. It's a great game, but it's very overhyped in my opinion. So 2K18, I know off rip, everyone is expecting me to have this be the worst 2K by far. And I had it easily being the worst 2K when it first came out, because it objectively was. But in the big 2025 that we are in right now, there have been 2 games since this that have been released that are so much worse than this that I cannot put this in the bottom tier. This is not an affront to God anymore. I can't say that it is. So obviously there are a lot of negatives about 2K18. So I'm going to start with the good things about 2K18, and believe me, that's not going to take me long to get through. So the first thing I will give 2K18 is the idea of adding a fucking neighborhood, all right? It was a complete embarrassment, and we're going to get to that in a minute, but the idea of the neighborhood and just everything about it besides the execution was actually really cool. Now, the only other thing I can give this game, which a lot of you probably will not remember, but this popped into my head when I was making this video, is when you're playing My Career, they have Kevin Garnett and they have Kobe both come on to like the announcer the booth or whatever, talking with like Doris Burke and Kevin Harlan and all them. I actually found that to be really cool. Like when I'm just playing My Career and I hear Kobe come on the fucking mic, or Kevin Garnett. That's actually really interesting. But those are the only 2 things I can really give this game. This game is trash in every other way, and so much more than you can even imagine. So we're going to break it down. So first of all, this is the first year where I think 2K really started pushing crazy in there with the microtransactions. Nowhere near what it is today, but they really started getting greedy in 2K18. Like, just as an example, when you walk to the barber shop in the neighborhood, it costs VC to go in there and change your hairstyle, and there was like a whole GTA-style cutscene of the guy cutting your hair, and you paid him like 500 VC to cut your hair. That's ridiculous. Pure sharpshooters also just completely ran this game. It wasn't even really worth using anything else. Simply just because a pure sharpshooter got good enough dribbling, you didn't really need any defense in this game because there was no defense. And all you had to do was just spam snatchbacks. And obviously on a pure sharp, you're going to have a 99 three-pointer. So all you had to do in this game, because it was so overpowered, was just spam snatchbacks over and over again and just shoot threes in people's face. And that's all you had to do on a pure sharpshooter. And it made pretty much every other build not obsolete, but very ass in comparison to a pure sharpshooter because of how overpowered it was. Now, I brought up the neighborhood briefly, so let's go back to that. What an embarrassment, and probably the biggest letdown in 2K history. They were gassing this shit up so much after 2K17. They talked about bringing like a whole innovative neighborhood where you could run around, go on the subway, play with your friends, go to shopping stores with your friends. It genuinely sounded so fucking cool from how much they were bringing it up and what they were saying about it. But it turned into the most bland, colorless, one street piece of shit. I don't even know what else to use to describe it. Just absolutely terrible. And they give you this big-ass neighborhood, and literally just to do something as basic as change your clothes, your shoes, or your shirt, you had to leave the park and hike like a mile to your fucking my court just to go up there and change your socks or your shoes or whatever the fuck. God, that shit was annoying. This game also pretty unanimously has some of the worst servers ever in 2K. It was just so laggy. I got error coded so many times, and we're used to that at this point, but this was the first game where that really started to get outrageous. And last thing I guess I'll bring up is the layup system was also just fucking terrible. It's kind of like 2K25 where you miss wide open layups and you'll hit reds in people's face. It was kind of like that at the launch of 2K18. So overall here, I cannot give 2K18 anything higher than the trash tier. God, it was a terrible game, and it was easily the worst of all time at its launch, but it's gotten worse over time. There's 2 games that are worse than this, so good luck when we get to those. So next up on the list, we have 2K19, and honestly, I really like 2K19. I don't think it's the greatest 2K of all time or anything, but it was honestly a very solid game. I had a lot of fun with it. There were a lot of great things about it, but there were also a lot of issues, as I'm sure a lot of you know. So let's start with the things that were actually good about 2K19. So I guess I'll talk about the dribbling to start off here. I really like the dribbling in this game. It's not the greatest of all time or anything, but the dribbling was really solid and fun, and especially coming off of a game that was as terrible as 2K18, the dribbling was like going from hell to heaven, basically. You could really do some crazy creative shit if you were good enough at the dribbling in this game, like you're watching GMAN in the background right now, and Steezo was going crazy that year as well. The dribbling in this game was so fluid. There were so many great moves. There was a real skill gap to it, so overall, the dribbling was great in this game. I also liked how when you picked a build archetype, your build was disgustingly overpowered at the 2 things that you picked, okay? And it's not as good as the builders we have nowadays, but if you made a pure lockdown back then, you best believe you were locking motherfuckers down. And the same thing goes for like a sharpshooter or a playmaker or whatever. All of the builds were very usable depending on the archetype that you made. And overall, I just really like the builder in this game as well. Also, the refined neighborhood, they took everything that was stupid about the 2K18 neighborhood and made it great in this game. This is easily the best neighborhood / shitty whatever the fuck that we've ever had. I don't think it can get more perfect than this, just having like a square with all of the shops and stuff on the outside and then having all of the courts in the middle. That is literally the perfect way to do the neighborhood. Also, I really don't think I need to explain how influential Takeover was being introduced in this game. This is my personal favorite iteration of Takeover. Every Takeover in this game was so fucking overpowered and so fun to use. So, obviously, Takeover has been a huge thing in every 2K since 19. We're on 2K25, and Takeover has been every game since then. So, obviously, it's a huge addition, and it's great. But now let's move on to the negatives, okay? I'm not stupid. I'm not acting like this game was perfect. Stretch bigs were very, very, very overpowered, and it's not because of the build. It's because of how stupid the contest system was in this game. So I did not like the way stretch fours could just fucking wiggle back and forth and shoot right in people's face. Obviously, that was a pretty big L. That was like one of the main lineups that you saw people running, right? Also, there was a demigod glitch in this game as well, very similar to 2K15 if you heard me talking about that. There were 7-3 pure lockdowns with elite dribble moves shooting at people's face with a 99-3 and all Hall of Fame badges. Obviously, that's ridiculous. That glitch should not be in the game, but luckily it didn't hit 2K19 until the end of the year, right before 20 was about to come out, so it wasn't the biggest deal in the world. And also, I was never really a big fan of Road to 99 as a whole with that whole rep system. It was really stupid how the first players to hit, like, I guess the technical legend in this game were all people who grinded, like, offline mycareer. That's really stupid. You shouldn't be grinding for top rep by cheesing bots offline. And the whole system itself was just kind of stupid. Like, rookie to legend is so much better. So I respect that they tried something different. I just wasn't a fan with this. So overall, I think that 2K19 is a pretty good game, but there is no way it is in the same tier as 2K15 or 2K17, so I'm going to have to give 2K19 like a C+. It's like the top of the mid-tier, just breaching right on the next tier. But like I said, 2K17 and 2K15 are on another level compared to this. All right, so next we have 2K20, okay? And I'm just going to make my opinion very clear from the jump. This is the most overrated 2K in history. There is no 2K more overrated than 2K20. And I honestly think it was a really trash game. But before you go to the comments and start going, oh my god, Tex, there's no way you just dissed my goat like that. You're retarded, bro. No fucking way this guy just said that. At least just hear out what I'm going to say, and then if you disagree, go to the comments. You can bitch, dislike, do whatever, okay? So I'm going to get into all the negatives in a minute, but I'm not going to act like this game is all negative. There were things that this game did right. So first of all, coming off of 2K19, this game actually has a really good balanced builder. That is something I will give this game. The builder is really fun. You can make some really cool, interesting builds. I know a lot of you will remember like the two-way slashing playmaker that could literally do everything. There was a big skill gap on this game where you could make average builds look like fucking superstars if you were really good. So that is something I did like about this game. Now, the other thing I will give 2K20 is it actually had a really good badge system and just rewards in general. Like, they brought back the OG rep system. If you remember in 2K19, I was saying I didn't really like Rookie to Legend. So I was very happy that they brought back the OG rep system in this game. But that's about where the positives end, at least in my opinion. Obviously, introducing Quick Draw as a badge instead of just being able to increase your jump shot speed was unbelievably stupid. And coming off of 2K19, they severely nerfed the dribbling and the movement. Just, this game felt like shit. Even at the time, I remember thinking this. I hated the way that the dribbling felt, and it just felt very slidey and weird. And the same goes for defense as well. And again, coming off of 2K19, they nerfed the shit out of takeovers. All of the takeovers were trash. They took so long to get, and most of them didn't even do anything. The only one that was halfway decent was slashing takeover, okay? And while we're on the topic of slashing in general in this game, I would be remiss to bring up 2K20 and not bring up the hop steps, bro. I hated how on this game, it didn't matter what type of defender you were going at. It didn't mean shit. If you just ran in the paint and did a hop step, you would make the shot 9 out of 10 times. It was literally fucking unguardable even if you jumped. It was so annoying. And if you combine all of that with a completely copy-pasted neighborhood from 2K19, you have a trash game, in my opinion. So I think that people only really like this game because of quarantine nostalgia. The game wasn't actually fun. You had fun because you were playing with your friends all day long and you had no responsibilities. That is why you found this game fun, and that's why you remember it so fondly. The actual game itself was not that good, okay? I know people are going to disagree with me, but that is honestly where I stand on that. This game was not good, bro. So throwing this game into the tier list, I switched it up a little bit. I did not feel right in my mind. I actually felt disgusting putting 2K20 in the same tier as 2K18 because 2K20 is very far ahead of 2K18. Let's be real here. So I added 2K18 into its own tier, and then I put 2K20 into the pretty bad tier. So I feel like that's very fair. I know people are still going to attack me ruthlessly in the comments for that, but I don't care, bro. I just don't care. All right, so next up, we have 2K21, and I'm just going to spoil it right now. This game is going in the affront to God tier. What an absolute embarrassment of a video game. For both next gen and current gen, I literally cannot think of one thing I like about either of these games, and I'm actually not trying to be funny. I'm really thinking right now, like, give me 2 seconds. The only thing I can really think of is on current gen, they actually had pretty cool jump shot landings and animations and stuff like that for when you green shots. That's it. That's the only positives I could give both next and current gen for 2K21. So I could literally sit here and talk for 20 minutes about how terrible of a video game this is, and I probably will at some point in full detail, but sticking on topic for now, I'll try to keep it short. Terrible dribbling. This is when the left-righting nonsense started, where you just run left, right, left, right, left, right. No skill involved whatsoever. They nerfed dribbling into the ground. Takeover was terrible. The meta on current gen, which was mainly what I played because next gen was so bad, was just spam midi fades around screens. Absolutely terrible meta. Dribbling sucked. Defense sucked. It was so slidey. Fucking playmaking sucked. Playmaking takeover was terrible. Dribbling sucked. Shooting felt like shit. The shot meter was absolute fucking ass. You couldn't even use the shot meter because it was so stupid. Current gen literally just reused the exact same game with like very small tweaks. Like you can see it's the exact same builder, same everything, same badge system. Everything is just recycled from 2K20 basically, but they made it so much worse, which is honestly, that's an accomplishment because I think 2K20 was bad, but making it worse is really like, you did something there, so great job. And as far as next gen goes, what an absolute disgrace, because it was actually worse than current gen, okay? What the fuck were they smoking over there at the 2K HQ? 21 Next Gen was the most delayed, shitty game I have probably ever played in my life, with 2K25 being a close second. The builder was cool, like it was cool that we had a new builder, but it literally just favored, I don't remember what height it was exactly because I barely even played 21, but it was some type of like small forward, like 6'9" small forward, something like that. That was the best build by so much that barely anyone used anything else. Such a terrible meta. The worst servers by far. This introduced the city, which was an absolute embarrassment in that game. The city was terrible. It was so laggy walking around. They had you doing bullshit quests in mycareer that meant absolutely nothing. Like, I could literally go on all day about how terrible this game is, but that would serve nothing to me. So this game, obviously going on the tier list, it is in the affront to God tier. There is no debate there. This game was awful. All right, so for 2K22, you can't see me in real life right now, but I'm doing the shrug emoji. I'm doing this, okay? Like, I don't even... This game was, like, pretty bad, but, like, I don't even have a lot to say about it because it was just so fucking... Like, it was bad, but not bad enough for me to, like, scream and care like I did about 2K21. It was just such a mid-game. So obviously this year is when the left-righting was at its peak. You have 5'9" guards being the meta, just left-righting, left-righting, left-righting around screens. I hated that meta. That whole time of 2K was just absolutely terrible in my opinion. Now the dribbling was somewhat fun when you didn't left-right, like you're watching a Steezo mixtape in the background. When you got decent at the dribbling and didn't just left-right like a little bitch on a 5'9", the dribbling was actually okay in this game. Like it was serviceable, I guess. And like, yeah, 2K22 introduced seasons, and some of the rewards were like actually kind of cool. This is before they recycled the rewards 50 different fucking times over a span of 5 years, so you actually like kind of cared about the rewards. But like the rep system being tied into the seasons, that's just fucking stupid. Whose idea was that? But like, yeah, as a whole, I don't have a lot to say about this game. I didn't play it that much, because I just found it boring. I didn't think it was, like, offensively ass, like 21 or 18. And I didn't hate it or anything, but, like, I just didn't care. Like, it was a really mid-game. It was boring, in my opinion. Throwing it on the tier list, it's going behind 2K20 in the pretty bad tier, but it wasn't awful. It was just so boring to play. Like, I'm struggling. I'm sure you can tell. I'm struggling to even think of anything to say about it because it was so boring. All right, so thankfully, 2K23... At the bare minimum, it's not boring as shit. I don't think it was that great of a game, but it was better than 2K22, and it wasn't boring at least, so that's a start. So there are some decent things when I look back at this game, like dunking in this game, it was really overpowered and stupid, but in a fun way. Like, literally anyone could just rim run and spam that dunk meter if you had a high enough driving dunk. So in that regard, it was actually somewhat fun, and that's what I mean by this game wasn't boring. It wasn't boringly ass. It was just, you know, kind of ass. So obviously the meta on this game, literally everyone made 6'9" fucking demigod builds that could do everything. And as repetitive as that was, it's not like 2K21 where the game is absolutely terrible. Like, this game was almost passable. So being able to create a demigod build like that was kind of fun, I guess. It wasn't as bad as 2K21. But yeah, the rim running on this game, literally, if you didn't spam the dunk meter, everybody would spam quick drops because they were literally unblockable. All you needed was an 80 dunk for that, and you had the best dunk package in the game. So stupid, it made no sense. Also, fadeaway threes in this game, why was that shit literally the meta besides rim running? Like, it was deadass more efficient to shoot a fadeaway three than it was to take a standstill three. You would have thought you were fucking prime Steph Curry out there. I also didn't like the takeover system in this game, or 22. 22 is so forgettable that I forgot to even bring up the takeover system, but I didn't like it in that game either, and I don't like it here. Like, the way that they did the takeover system here is just pretty stupid. Shot contests in this game also really pissed me off. Like, you would get so many random speed ups and slowdowns, and so much of this nonsense, and the main reason they did that was to combat Zens, which were in the game in 2K21, which I forgot about during my unholy rant that I went on, but yeah, they tried to, like, introduce all these bullshit shot timings in this game, which made the shooting terrible. The contest system also sucked, and it didn't do anything to stop fucking cheaters, which you obviously see even now in 2K25. The cheaters just run rampant. They don't give a fuck, so, I mean, that's pretty nice. Also, they recycled a lot of their awards from 2K22, bringing the seasons back again this year, so that was ungodly fucking lazy, so thanks for that, I guess, but I got nothing further to say about 23. I had some fun on this game, just like I had some fun on 2K20, and I had a little bit of fun on 2K22, so it's going to go in the C tier. I think it's a little better than 22, not by much. All of the next-gen 2Ks suck, just as a warning, but I'm sure you all knew that, so again, it's going to go in the C tier, right above 2K22. It was a pretty bad game, to be honest. So for 2K24, I actually have clips of myself playing this game, because 2K24 was the year where I started YouTube. So I have some type of connection with this game. I know a lot of you see me playing this in the background of my videos because I don't like 25, but do not get it misconstrued. 2K24 is a pretty bad fucking game, like, let's be honest. So coming off of 2K23, this game had so much potential. I remember everyone was hype over the summer when this game was about to drop, like when Mike Wang tweeted out, "Oh, quick drops are gone, guys." And they were saying, like, "Oh, 6'9" demigods are gone, bro. Like, oh, those are cooked." And they were like, "Oh, no more of that rim running shit, bro. Like, that dunk meter, we packed it up, bro. Like, it's patched, bro." In reality, the dunk meter was actually better in this game if you knew how to use it. You see it in my background gameplay all the time. All you have to do is get somebody on your hip and you will throw them into a dunk meter every time. And the green window is fucking massive. There's no RNG. You will basically make every dunk if somebody is on your hip. Also, quick drops got packed up and put into the starter animations where you actually have to unlock it later in the game. But athletic hangs off one were actually better anyway. They were way harder to block, and you only needed a 65 to get them. So it literally made no difference for that. As far as the 6'9s being cooked, bro, 6'6s replaced them, and I believe they were actually, I don't know if they were better, but they were definitely still really good. So I don't know, comparing 23 to 24, you're comparing poop to shit, basically. I think that 25, or not 25, excuse me, dear Lord, but I think 24 is slightly better than 23, I guess. I don't really have that much more to say about this game. Like, the layups were very overpowered and stupid. Obviously, there was no paint defense whatsoever. There was a lot of dumb shit in this game, but it was bad, and frankly, I don't care enough to talk about it because it's a pretty bad video game. I don't even enjoy my time playing it, really. I only really use it for background gameplay because I hate 25 more, and 2K24 and just 2K background gameplay in general is more engaging, I'll be honest with you. So that's the only reason I even still play this game. But for whatever reason, I still find the game really interesting to talk about, so throwing this on the tier list, it's going in the pretty bad tier. I'm putting it in front of 22 and 23. It's still a very bad game. All of the games listed there are bad. All of the next-gen games are bad, but I guess it's the best next-gen game, if that means anything. Like, they're all fucking terrible, so I guess it won the gold medal at the Special Needs Olympics. What an accomplishment, bro. Alright, so we have made it to the final game here, which is 2K25, and I don't think I could have ended it on a worse game. Anyone who watches my videos already knows how I feel about this. What an absolute fucking embarrassment of a video game this is, okay? Now, I go back and forth in my head every other day trying to debate whether this is worse than 21 Next Gen or if 21 Next Gen is worse. I don't know. Okay, that is a real debate. I want to know what you think in the comments if you made it this far in. Genuinely, I don't know which one is worse, but today I'm feeling like 21 Next Gen was worse. So this is slightly better, you know, but not by much. Now, to be frank here, okay, I do not have 40 minutes of my time right now to rip apart every way that this game is ass. This video is getting long enough. If you're interested, I will have a video linked in the description where it's literally a 30-minute video. I just sat down and yelled into my mic because I was so pissed at how bad 2K25 is. So if you really want a more detailed breakdown, definitely check that video out. But I'm going to try to keep it more condensed here so we don't have to sit here for any longer because, again, this video is getting pretty long. But I basically hate everything about this fucking game, from the skill-based matchmaking to the city still existing. The parks are absolutely terrible. The game is optimized horribly. You can just dashboard improving grounds and keep your spot on the fucking ranks. Oh my god, everything about this, okay? The RNG, the game speed, I hate the animations. Dribbling and stamina are terrible. Dunking is terrible. Layups are inconsistent. The shooting has RNG. It's terrible. The meta of this is terrible. Spamming mid-ranges and brick wall screens is so fucking annoying. Perimeter defense is inconsistent and weird. So are lane steals. On-ball steals are the same way. Paint defense does not exist. Passes are way too slow. Rebounding is absolutely inconsistent and just shit. So, I mean, I could keep going. I really could, but I have an entire video of it, okay? So I'm not going to do it again. But this game is fucking atrocious. I guess we're done here. I got nothing further to say about 25. It's just so bad. Putting it on the tier list, obviously, it is in the affront to God tier. I'm putting it above 2K21 because that's just what I'm in the mood for today. If you think 21 is better, cool. If you think it's worse, cool. Most of us can agree that this game is an absolute fucking embarrassment and it's so terrible, and 21 is either better or worse. Who the fuck cares, bro? They're both awful. So 36 minutes later, and we have officially ranked every single 2K game that I have played. Now look, I never asked for likes or subs, but this video took me so long to edit, bro. I think you guys forget that I am not like a real YouTuber. I've made like 80 videos. I'm still ass at this. So for me to edit all of this and upload it took me fucking forever. So at bare minimum, please just drop a like or something for me, man. This took me so damn long to make, all right? Or share it with a friend, do something, bro. I would appreciate it. Obviously, you're going to disagree with something I said because I talked about 12 or 13 games. So you'll disagree with something. Let me know what you disagree with in the comments. I'm obviously open to discussion. I'll be replying to pretty much every comment. So drop something down there, okay? But on that note, hopefully you boys enjoyed the video. I'll be back out here with my next one. Hopefully it won't take as long as this one. I'm not going to lie, because this was a big project. But yeah, until my next video, I appreciate you all for all the love and support recently. And I'll be back better than ever for my next video. So appreciate you boys, and peace.